Welcome to Comic Storian, where we take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues of your favorite comic books while diving into the world of video games and movies, and we break down the lore within your favorite pop culture universe, turning it into an audio drama. Today we're going to be continuing a storyline that we started a long time ago. One of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe that doesn't seem to get much love in general, even though she even appeared in a movie. I'm talking about SpiderGwen, otherwise known as Ghost Spider, depending on what continuity you're looking at. Now, we're currently still covering the original SpiderGwen run, and I want to wrap that up for you because it does end epically. Now, in our last videos, the search for Gwen continued with Frank Castle leading the charge to bring Spider-Woman in for her involvement in the death of Peter Parker. As Frank tore apart the city, Gwen's father, George Stacy, decided to turn himself in for helping Spider-Woman to give Gwen a chance to escape from Frank's wrath. In the end, George Stacy was arrested, and the only person that Gwen could turn to for help was the Kingpin of New York, Matt Murdock. As Harry Osborn stands in the streets of Madripoor, he makes a call to Gwen's phone, only to get her voicemail. The beep goes off, and Harry tells her, "It's me again. I'm in a hurry. Get my father to stop. Make them stop, please. They're just making things worse." He then hangs up the phone and looks back at all of the hand ninjas surrounding him. Meanwhile, back in Manhattan, Gwen visits the police station to see her father, and Matt Murdock tells them that they need to move this along. George's trial is being fast-tracked. Gwen tells him, wait a second. He said that it would take months. And Matt tells her, he said that many things were likely, given her father's cooperation. Our current situation is that George Stacy's refusal to refute the charges against him plays it out like guilt. What's coming isn't a trial, it's a stage, a soapbox that her father can stand on and shout his side to the world. So what happens when he does that and the world doesn't care? The choice is clear. You honor our deal or he rots in prison. Either way, we're done for today, Gwen. Matt grabs Gwen by the arm, but George Stacy lunges at Matt, telling him, "You are not gonna threaten us!" And Matt pushes back, stating, "Threaten? I wouldn't dare!" Gwen still buys into your little code of honor. But how good are those little merit badges going to be when Gwen is all out there alone, Mr. Stacy? It is in your best interest to not break our deal. And George shouts that he will break him for. But Gwen steps between them, telling them to stop. You're here because of me, Dad, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get you out. As Gwen and Matt leave, they pass Officer Boyle and another officer, and Matt grabs Gwen by the shoulder, asking, "Do you take me to be a clown?" Gwen asks what he means, and he shouts, "I asked you, do you take me for a clown? I asked you to assure your father's cooperation. I asked you to honor our deal, Miss Stacy. So far, I've gotten so very little of what I've asked for." The other officer with Boyle steps in, asking Gwen if the man is giving her any trouble, but Boyle pushes him back, asking, "Do you know who that is? That is Matt Murdock." And the officer steps back, stating, "Wait, that's Kingpin?" And the boy turns around, stating, "Just shut up and walk away." Gwen tells Matt that he can't scare her into doing whatever he wants like everyone else. Like he said, they have a deal, and he owes her as well. Matt yells that he wants her suited up and powered up. What he wants to see is Spider-Woman atop Oscorp Tower in 10 minutes. And believe him, she will want to take this seriously. Because right now, he is no longer asking. 10 minutes later at Norman Osborn's office, Norman looks up to see Gwen in her costume. And he asks Matt if he's serious. Spider-Woman is a killer. Harry lost his damned mind seeking vengeance for what she did to the Parker boy. And Gwen tells Norman, "No, Peter Parker was my friend, and your son Harry, he's also my friend." Matt then tells them, "Look, I know what happened to Harry. After his little run-in with Spider-Woman, he came running to Daddy for help. I know that Harry took the lizard mutagen and needed help, but he never got any from Dad. I also know that there was a recent run-in with Frank Castle, and you left Oscorp a little radioactive isotope like this one." Norman asks, "So? What do you want? Me to recreate Spider-Woman's powers?" And Matt laughs, stating, "Cindy Moon created Spider-Woman. That would be like asking a house painter to recreate the Sistine Chapel. You can't do it. Not exactly. You may come in, Dr. Brock." The doors open up and Elsa Brock walks in with a cart. And Norman asks, "What is this? Are you working with Murdock?" Elsa pulls back the cover, stating that she's been searching for what he's asked. She found a way to get his son back. And that's when a little black liquid hisses as it tries to escape. And Gwen asks, "Okay, what the hell is that?" Elsa tells her that this is the next step. This is a new her. Cindy Moon is a genius, and by unlocking the secrets of an alien spider parasite, she not only created Spider-Woman, but also handed Doc Connors the keys to his lizard formula. With Matt Murdock's encouragement, she turned their isotope research into a cure for Harry's condition. So she theorized that the two of them might have some effect on one another, perhaps burn out the lizard's regeneration powers. But to their surprise, it did more, much more. She pours the black liquid onto a lab rat, and once it's fully covered, the rat hisses and begins to savagely claw at the glass. She goes on stating that the ooze created by exposing the lizard serum to Cindy's radiation is a mutant cousin of Agent Drew's original alien parasite. It also grants host powers similar to Spider-Woman's, though not without peculiarities. The venom absorbs the isotope to live, but it also amplifies it. It begins to emit its radiation. It's an odd side effect for the parasite, but deadly for the host. And that is where Spider-Woman comes in. Her body, her blood, it's completely immune to Venom's radiation. Venom can make you whole again. Gwen shouts, "You are out of your minds if you think I'm going to let you infect me with some snot parasite." And Matt tells her, "Oh no, not yet at least. We need Harry Osborn. Your relationship is the best chance we have to luring him back home. Harry's been a lizard too long, advancing beyond any existing treatment. If we use the isotope to mutate his blood into venom, we can draw the parasite out of him." And Gwen asks what happens after that. They're going to use the toxic turtle ooze and turn her into a freak show? And Elsa tells her, "No, you're immune to the negative effects. Your relationship would just be symbiotic." Matt then says Harry gets his own life back, Norman gets his son back, and Spider-Woman gets her powers back. And the venom gets a new home. It's win-win-win. Gwen then shouts asking, "And what do you get, Matt? Your own personal pet monster? A freak you can..." But Norman stops her, telling her, "Please, Harry did this because of you. Because he thought you were..." And Gwen stops him, telling him, "No, Harry did it to himself, and you could have helped him. You should have helped him." Norman looks at her, telling her, "Please, as his father, help me fix this." So Gwen sighs. "Damn it, fine." And later in Madripoor, the hand ninjas tell Gwen that they await her orders. She looks at them asking, "What?" "Oh, no. Look, I appreciate the lift, but I'm really not going to do the group thing." As she swings through the city, a man watches, stating, "Look at that, the Spider-Woman herself." And as the man follows, there's a schnick. A short while later, Gwen catches up with Harry, telling him to just stop. He spins back, knocking up bits of gravel and debris with his mutated lizard arm, and then he jumps down into the alleyway. Gwen follows, tackling him, shouting, "Stop, damn it!" And the two bounce into the street. But as Gwen gets back up, she tells him that they need to stop running. She is here to help him. He catches his breath, stating that he's not running from her. She was followed by him. Gwen looks back to see where Harry is pointing and sees a man in a cowboy hat, asking, "Okay, who's that?" The man walks out of the shadows, stating, "I misjudged this for an easy bounty. You fought well, honorably even. But now it's time to come along peacefully." Gwen tells the man that she doesn't know who he is, or what business he has with Harry, but the man stops her. "No, darling. Don't expect that you would know my business. Not a lot of folks breathing who do." There's a schnick as three claws pop out of the man's knuckles and he lunges forward, swinging them at Gwen. She manages to duck behind the man, kicking him into a nearby guy, and then runs over to Harry, telling him that they got a ghost out like Swayze. As Harry gets back up, he sees all the ninjas following Gwen. And Gwen tells him, "Okay, you're not really going to believe this, but they're with me." Harry stares for a moment, stating, "Wait, you're working with the hand? They've been hunting me for weeks!" All the ninjas on the rooftops release their arrows, most of which land directly into the man's chest. Gwen grabs Harry, ducking through the crossfire from the ninja, stating, "Look, I know this looks bad, but..." And Harry stops her. "Bad? It doesn't get much worse than this. That guy, that's Logan, the immortal Mr. Murder Hands. Legend has it that he was a samurai, but instead of dying in the battlefield, he was revived to live out the lives of all the people that he killed. He ended up in America working for S.H.I.E.L.D. Gwen asks, "So S.H.I.E.L.D. has their own personal maniac?" And Harry says, "Sort of. Mr. Murder Hands is Black Ops. Hired help that they call in when things are too messy." Gwen then says, "Can we not call him Mr. Murder Hands? That name would be too self-fulfilling. Call him Wolverine. I know one of those." Just as Gwen and Harry get away from the fight, a woman jumps down from a building, phasing through Gwen and Harry. Harry swipes at her, but the woman turns back, popping a single claw out to Harry's neck, stating that he's so special that S.H.I.E.L.D. has sent in the Shadow Cat. Harry tells Shadow Cat to do it. "Think this is messy? I'm the lizard now. You know what kind of monster will grow in my place?" Gwen yells for everyone, "Just shut up! Look, lady, S.H.I.E.L.D. wants to do experiments on Harry. All I want to do is cure him." Shadowcat tells her, "You are barking up the wrong tree. I'm here to do a job." And that's when there's a sonic blast and Shadowcat screams. Logan walks up holding a small device, telling them, Tisk, tisk. You know I love you, kitty, but this bounty is mine. As Shadowcat takes out the rest of her claws, Gwen helps Harry get back up, stating, "This is insane! Everyone is insane! God!" With Logan and Shadowcat distracted, Gwen and Harry then make a break for it down an alleyway, with Harry stating, "Just up ahead." Gwen then begins to explain how she can use her power-ups to draw out the lizard mutagen, and then the mutagen changes into something that's supposed to fix her powers. Harry begins rummaging through a tent asking, "Where is it?" As a D20 die falls out, Harry frantically swipes at it, and Gwen tells him, "We have to hurry! You don't know what's at stake here!" Harry turns back and hands Gwen the die that they used to play Dungeons & Dragons with, and he says, "I do. I know what's at stake. I always have." That's when the ninjas jump down, telling Gwen that they can't keep the bounty hunters back for much longer. They must get to the transport now! Harry begins to growl, and as Gwen looks at the die, she pulls her mask down, stating, "Okay, one last time. One last roll." Later, after getting away from the hand and shoplifting, Gwen and Harry run into an alleyway to catch their breath. Harry starts to stuff his face with whatever he can grab from the bag that they took from the store. But as a rat runs by, he snatches it. Gwen smacks the rat out of his hand, asking, "What the hell? We already stick out like a sore thumb. Do you know how not to draw attention to us? We have shield bounty hunters and Murdoch's ninjas to deal with. We can't risk them catching our scent from something stupid like stolen energy drinks." Harry goes back to eating from the bag, stating, "Fine, more for me." As Harry munches away, Gwen sighs as she leans up against the wall and sits down. She thinks of what she should do, and that's when she dumps out her bag, grabbing her phone, calling Matt. Matt picks up from a club, stating, well, it must be early for you over there. What's the matter? Your latest betrayal eating away at your conscience?" Gwen says, "Oh, screw you! You knew S.H.I.E.L.D. sent those maniacs after Harry." And Matt laughs, "Of course I did. S.H.I.E.L.D. will now dissect your little friend there unless you bring him back. This is your second strike. Come home and we'll call this a foul ball." Gwen tells him, "No, I don't trust you. Harry is safer with me." So Matt then asks, "What does Harry think of this?" And Harry yells as he smashes the phone. Before getting ready to move out, Harry says, "Of course this is going to be a trap. We have to split up." Gwen tells him, "Yeah, no, S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't after me, and Murdoch knows that I got to go home eventually. You're going to need a better plan if you want me to ditch you." Harry then asks, "This cure, how does it work? Why do I need you?" So Gwen explains how Cindy Moon unlocked the genetic code of an alien spider and used it to create her powers. Peter and Doc Connors then used her research to create the lizard mutagen. The radiation in her power-ups has a strange effect on the lizard DNA by pulling it out of the host. It mutates into some sort of needy black goop. But since she's immune to the radiation, she is the only one who can bond with it without killing its host. Harry pauses and waits. "You have isotopes?" Gwen tells him, "No way. They have no clue what they're doing. But what the hell do we do once the serum is mutated into that gloop? I don't want that stuff anywhere near me. Maybe we can talk to Reed or Jessica." And Harry shouts, "We can't trust anyone! You can see why everyone wants my blood. It's turning me into a freaking monster." Gwen grabs Harry, telling him to calm down. She's doing everything that she can. And then she stops. The hand ninjas jump down, attacking Harry. As Gwen is pushed to the ground, she realizes something. There's no way to save both of them. It's Lizard or Spider-Woman. She has to choose. So she pulls down her mask, and just as a ninja is about to strike her, Logan runs in, cutting him. Gwen smacks the injector, getting ready to fight, but a hand phases through the wall, and Shadowcat grabs her, telling her, "Nuh-uh." She presses her knuckles to Gwen's head, telling her, "You're dumb enough to walk into this." And Gwen shouts, "You have no idea what you're doing! Murdoch is playing you all!" And Shadowcat says, "Aw, don't you worry, non-precious. The professionals are here. Be grateful. We got this." Meanwhile, back in George Stacy's holding cell, he hears the cell doors unlock and then sees Alexei standing there. George asks, "What the hell is this? That man tried to kill me once before. I don't know what the Kingpin has on you, but..." The guard looks back and says, "I don't know any Kingpin. I'm just doing my job, just like our captain should have." The guard takes off Alexei's cuff, telling him, "Make it look good. Not like..." But before the guard could finish, Alexei punches him in the face. He walks into the cell, cracking his knuckles, telling Murdoch that his tab is due. Back over at the first floor elevators, DeWolf pushes the button to the 9th floor and asks Officer Boyle where he's headed, officer. And Boyle says, "Boyle, ma'am. Funny enough, I'm headed to the 9th floor too. Reckon we're visiting a mutual friend. Gonna drop off a little reading material." DeWolf looks at the cover and reads Dad's Sword and laughs, stating that George loves a good fantasy. Boyle then laughs and says that he's never heard anyone call him George before. Make it sound like he's almost... And DeWolf stops him. "Human? That's the best part about Captain George Stacy. He's just a human like the rest of us." As the doors open, DeWolf and Boyle step out and see the security guard is missing. DeWolf grabs her gun while Boyle and her start to make their way through a row of holding cells. When DeWolf sees Alexei, she tells Boyle to get some help. She'll deal with Rhino over there. Alexei charges at DeWolf as she starts firing, stating, "Ha! Rhino! I like that nickname!" After knocking DeWolf to the ground, Otomo appears telling him the job is done, they must go. As the smoke fills the room, DeWolf gets back up, running to George's cell, calling out to him. But when she looks back in the cell, she sees George Stacy laying there on the floor. Back in Madripoor, Logan continues fighting with Harry in his full lizard form, while Shadowcat holds Gwen in place to watch. Gwen struggles to free herself, shouting to Shadowcat, "Can't you see? The more you fight, the more of a monster my friend turns into. It wasn't his decision to fight." Shadowcat flashes back to a time when she was younger, and how she was used to help create Logan. Shadowcat throws Gwen to the ground, stating, "Damn you! Striker! Weapon X! They made me!" And Gwen asks, "What are you?" But Shadowcat grabs her, shouting, "I was just a little girl! I thought it was helping him! I had no choice." Gwen stops and tells her, "You do now though, right?" So Shadowcat pauses for a moment and then says, "I'll separate them, but whatever I'm going to do, it better be worth it." Logan cuts into Harry across his chest, and Harry roars as he charges, turning over a police car. Logan gets behind him, jumping up, swiping at his neck again, and as he does, he ends up phasing through with Shadowcat telling him to stop. Logan asks her, "What are you doing?" And Shadowcat pulls him away, stating, "It's not worth it. Look around. Is all this destruction worth it?" Gwen gets up, kicking Harry in the head, stunning him, asking Shadowcat if she can phase people into things. She laughs, asking, "How much of him?" As Gwen charges back in, Shadowcat grabs onto Harry's tail, stating that she's ready. Harry pulls back one of his massive arms, swinging, but his arm goes through Gwen and into the street. With Harry locked in place, Gwen grabs a handful of isotopes, holding them in front of Harry, stating that she's sorry. But whatever happens next, it isn't his burden to carry anymore. Slowly, the mutagen creeps through Harry, through his cuts, turning into the black goo, turning into venom like before. And as venom grows, it looms over Gwen, and she tells him, this is all on her now. Back in Manhattan, the medics rush George Stacy into an ambulance, and as they prep to leave, DeWolf notices D.A. Franklin Nelson watching. She grabs him, asking, "Why, Foggy? Do you even know why? You and Murdoch, do you have any idea what you've done?" And there you have it, Volume 4 of SpiderGwen. Took us forever to get back to it, but I'm happy we did. We are setting up for Gwenum. Yep, that's pretty much what she gets called around in the Marvel comic book community. Awesome, though, in my opinion. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, but if you do want more SpiderGwen, thanks to the YouTube algorithm, I literally need to know. Go in the comments down below and be like, Benny, I want more SpiderGwen. I like this character. I want to see her fighting this weird version of Wolverine. I want to see her getting the Venom symbiote. I want to see where this goes. If you want to know where to buy the next issue, it's Volume 5 of SpiderGwen. So if this doesn't perform, I guess this will be the official end of SpiderGwen, but we are giving it this one last chance. Please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell with a notification, and let us know in the comments down below, I want more SpiderGwen. It makes the algorithm send this video out to anyone looking for Ghost Spider. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget you can follow me at Twitter @ComicStorian, and I'll see you next time right here.